Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an article titled The Sugar Daddy Scam. And guys, this article is written by a woman, and to no surprise, she is a feminist woman. And she's not exactly very happy with the whole phenomenon of older men going out with, dating, being in relationships with younger women. The whole, he's got money, he's taking care of her sugar daddy, and the girl, she's enjoying every bit of being, enjoying his resources, sugar baby. And I'm doing this article as a perfect example, guys, to show you just the bitterness that's out there to, let's be honest, when older guys are going out with younger women. And it's always funny to see how generally it's the women that are the most bitter about this, not so much the young guys. The young guys, they can be annoyed that the older guys are going out with the girls, especially the guys with the money and all that, but the real bitter, the real disdain comes from the ladies. Well, they're not ladies, the women. Okay? And oftentimes these types here, like you're going to see in this article, they always make it out to be that these young, innocent, sweet angel of women are being taken advantage of. They don't know what they're doing and blah, 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 and these devilish guys are taking advantage of them and all that. And let me tell you, these women, they've been around the block. They know full well what they're doing, what they're getting into. And I just get so sick and tired of hearing the complaints about that and how it's all the guys' fault and taking advantage of it. Believe me, these young gals, they like older guys. They like that they have resources. They like being taken care of. And a lot of times it's not exactly completely a gold-digging, sinister scenario. It's just there are a lot of young women that like older guys. Don't get me wrong. The resources they have are certainly nice. But they also want a guy that's obviously longer in life, more mature, a guy that can lead, things like that. And I'll tell you guys, I wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case. Because I've mentioned in other videos before, my dad was 24 years older than my mom. On their first date, my mom was 21 and my dad was 45. He had been divorced for a few years. First marriage didn't work, no surprise there. And so my dad was a doctor, and he was also he was a Navy officer, so he was a catch. He did well for himself financially, and my mom was a nurse, and they worked at the same hospital, and the old stereotype that doctors and nurses get together. Well, there you go. And she was more than happy to date this very handsome, popular, accomplished doctor who was also a high-ranking naval officer. Made her day. And he was more than happy to be dating a 21-year-old good-looking girl. And there you go. Everybody was happy. And they had a good marriage. They were happy. They always loved each other. I mean, to my dad passed away, they would always hold hands out in public. They'd always say, I loved you. I mean, I grew up in a household like that. A lot of people think that I grew up in this unhappy household where mom and dad hated each other's guts and stuff like that. It couldn't have been any more opposite of what people think of me. But life experience has taught me what I talk about in this channel. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. So this idea that it's all a big scam and it's horrible, it's ridiculous. So anyhow, I'm going to get into this here and I'll point these things out about her. And I don't know what she looks like, but a lot of times the women that get angry about this, let's just say, aren't exactly, they don't have a whole lot of gentleman callers, so to speak, coming to their door. So it starts off, it says here, it is 2021, and with it came what I like to tag the fourth wave of millennial feminism. Like it or not, women are everywhere now, doing what they want, how they want, when they want, and no one's coming for them for it. No one can. That first paragraph pretty much sums up her personality and view. As a female, I'll be honest, if I had to pick a year to be alive in history, I'd pick this one. I mean, sure, there's a substantial wage gap, grape culture, and Afghanistan and the men's right movement. She said, yeah, the people who made the rules and gave themselves all the rights need even more rights, because that makes perfect sense. It says near non-existent abortion rights, but look at it in this way. We're out here thriving regardless of all that. Regardless of all these substantial oppositions, the average daily trend for the everyday 2021 remains the same. Do what you effing want, how you effing want, and don't let no one stop you. Oh, she sounds like a lot of fun to be around. Can you imagine dating her, be on a date with her? Holy crap. Guy opens the door for her, she practically chops his hand off. Does this sound like a fun person? Does this sound like somebody who's happy? I mean, look at the world, the way that things have gone thanks to the feminist movement and these attitudes. They're all angry, they're all bitter. Is it any wonder less and less people are in relationships as time goes on, while the young crowd, young boys, high school, college, are not nearly as interested, if not at all, in dating, hooking up and all that than they were like at my generation when I was in college in the late 90s? Because you have more and more young girls acting like this. Is it any wonder that more people are avoiding marriage and so on and so forth because of this? Yeah, this has worked out real well. It goes on. It's amazing. This is the millennial turning point of the age-old feminist battle, and I don't know if you've seen the charts, but we're clearly winning. The world is slowly but surely waking up, and boy, am I glad to be alive in an age to witness it. Well, you can be happy in your apartment with your cat and boxed wine because there's going to be no guy you're going to be with. That being said, like the dawn of any new age, we're off to a good but slightly imperfect start. Yeah, it's very imperfect. With a lot of new ideals and mantras being thrown around in the name of feminism, it's easy to lose sight of the core message of female empowerment. One of these ideas would be the sugar daddy scam. I'm pretty sure you have a good idea where I'm going. Sugar daddies are popular now, even trendy. A previously sore and rancid cliche of a topic involving an often married, borderline, well, I'm not going to say this word, older gentleman seeking the affections of a financially insecure, much younger female. There's often a mandatory 10 to 30-year age gap via consistent monetary love bombing and temporary financial security. Man, she's spiteful. So she says here, often 10 to 30-year age gap. Well, my dad was 24 years older than my mom. And believe me, she'd be frowning upon that situation, and she would most certainly frown upon me if she obviously met me. But listen to this, just the spite in this, the anger. She says, a couple years ago, this was sort of an open secret, like many other topics closely associated with femininity. This is one of shame. Society viewed you as a weak, pathetic gold digger if you had one, a loose woman without morals or the drive for consistent hard work, content to sit back and leech off an already made man, no matter how much older than your father he might be, in exchange for the occasional roll in the hay. Lady, this isn't anything new. This has been going on for a long time. Okay, like I said, I'm a result of that. And just because you're not happy about it doesn't mean that others aren't. And again, you can see how she wrote this, that basically making out to be that the gals are these just being taken advantage of. They don't know what they're doing. Yes, they do. She says, if I'm going to have a sex, I might as well get pampered for it. And not to lie, it's quite an attractive prospect. Sit back, relax, occasionally spread your legs, and have every single need of yours taken care of. But regardless of how it's portrayed on today's mainstream media, I'm of the opinion that it isn't all guns and roses, and for a few reasons. Well, imagine that you're going to share your opinion. Who would have thought an feminist would actually keep quiet? Number one, the money for love exchange sounds a little too much like, all right, fuck it, I'll say it, prostitution, don't you think? I gotta watch what I say here. I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this one, aren't I? Nonetheless, that's what I said. SEX work in and of itself isn't a bad thing. I knew she was going to say that. It's work much like any other occupation. But hey, if you want to do just that, don't dress up in gold chains and trips to the United Arab Emirates. I mean, of course, sugar babies get substantially better pay than the average SEX worker, but it is what it is, regardless, financial stipend in exchange for affection. Well, one can make the argument that dating is that too. I mean, let's be honest here. You go out. Oftentimes in the beginning, at least in the old days, the guy would pay for the date. They're going out to dinner, going out for drinks, whatever they're doing. And after enough dates, they get close, they like each other and all that, and they hook up. One can make that case. Money is spent, and eventually, but then eventually the supposed return on the investment is they get into a relationship, and then he doesn't have to spend as much, but gets more hooking up. Okay, but no matter what, there's always relationships, marriages. Ultimately, they're business deals. I mean, it's the ugly truth here, but it really is. Number two, the sex thing isn't easy as it looks. Alas, we've reached an age where the sacredness of S-word intimacy has been completely downtrodden. It sickens me. But that's a topic for another day. Giving your body to someone you have no emotional connections to or substantial feelings for might seem easy at first, but can really F with your mental health in the long run. And I don't know about you, but my sanity is pretty priceless to me. I think she's a little lacking in the sanity area because she's obviously a hardcore feminist, basically what I put together by reading this article here. But, there is one thing that actually is kind of true. Obviously, it's been proven scientifically that the more dudes women are hooking up with, the harder they have a hard time connecting with guys. I can't think of the word. What the hell is it called? Pair bonding. Number three, wholly depending on a man scares the F out of me. What if he stops liking you, gets a new sugar baby, loses his source of income, gets hostile? What if his wife is a little mentally unstable? And she says, whispers crazy. What is this batshit acid pouring kind of crazy? What if he's into S-word extremities? So many terrible things could happen. Now remember, the feminist type don't like the idea of a woman actually relying on a man to take care of things. Hardcore feminists, they want a woman to be able to go out there and have a career, make a lot of money, and do anything a man can do and more. And believe me, there's no greater enemy to the feminist movement than a woman that actually is traditional and likes to have a man lead, likes to have a man be the provider, where maybe she stays home with the kids and raises the family and all that. That is like, feminists hate that because they think it's throwing away our rights and basically a giant FU to all the sisters in the past that fought the good fight and fought the battles, that women could go out there and have careers and all that. They can't stand women that rely on other men. So you can see why there's disdain here. Number 4, I'm a feminist. Really, I never guessed that. Depending on a man for the totality of my basic needs, knowing full well that my predecessors have fought to the death to ensure that I have some semblance of equality, and financial opportunity seems a little bit like a conflict of interest. Enough said. What'd I just tell you? So this is her own personal views. This is her own political views here. Okay. Guess what? There are a lot of women out there that like the old traditional ways. They'd be happy with a great guy that does well, could take care of the family. She could be a stay-at-home mom, raise the kids, who's actually feminine, girly, there. But these types just lose their minds over this. It's ridiculous. Number 5. It just seems like a dangerous prospect, What if he's a serial something? Or worse, a Nigerian rich man, ritualistic cliche. All in all, sugar babyhood isn't really an attractive prospect for me. Well, because probably no older guy wants you, and isn't really something I feel should be normalized with the persistent progression of feminism. Thoughts? Well, I guarantee you she probably had a lot of comments about her thing about that. But at the end of the day, here's my opinion. If you have women out there that want to date older guys for whatever their reason, and he's happy and she's happy, then leave him alone. It's not all situation where he's this calculating, evil goblin of a guy is trying to trap these poor, sweet, innocent, clueless young women. They know what they're doing. They know what they're getting into, okay? Believe me. Remember Annika Nicole Smith? How old was she when she was with that old guy? You think she didn't know what she was doing? And she made out like a bandit. Okay, now that's an example of truly the gold digging going on there, but come on here. She knew what she was doing. He knew what he was getting. I mean, all those women that used to hang around Hugh Hefner, duh. He was getting what he wanted. They were getting what they wanted. End of story. Those are extreme cases of the gold dig and get what they want for resources. But then there's also relationships like my parents that simply, my dad was a lot older, and my mom and him, they really clicked. They're attracted to each other, and they had a great life together. Okay, believe me. My mom, it was all about money. She could have left a few years into the marriage. That would have been it. But no, she was with him to the day he died, and they loved each other, and they were great. And there are plenty of other couples out there like that. But you have these types that they see as this great injustice and this horrible thing. It's ridiculous. Okay, but again, these types, these feminists, they're social justice warriors. They're always looking for some injustice in the world, particularly when it comes to women. So they got to basically crap on everybody else, and it's just like, mind your own damn business. Seriously, okay? Focus on other stuff. Focus on yourself. Focus on your own life. I mean, come on here. It's ridiculous. But again, and also, not to mention, a lot of gals really hate, have absolute just disdain when older guys are with the younger women. Or just guys their own age are with younger women because they feel like, that should be my guy. But he's going for these young hussies. How dare he? It's not their fault. It's his fault. And the guys are always blamed for that, by the way. Never noticed that. But anyhow, guys, I've gone on long enough. That was a good one to find just to show you the mindsets out there. It's just unbelievable. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below and what you think about this. And, guys, if you ever come across a great article that you'd like me to share, by all means, email it to me. This also includes a great personal story or some crazy story out there. That'd be a good one to cover with the type of things I cover. Email it to me. If it's definitely good, I will do it at some point. And also, by the way, if you do personal stories, just please make sure you write them out well, right? Have paragraphs, use good punctuation, things like that, because it makes it a lot easier for me to do it. Because if it's all jammed together and there's there's run-on sentences, everything's jammed together. It's very hard for me to do it, and I'm going to have to ultimately skip past them because I get so many emails every day. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.